Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. A few videos ago I did a installation of a Dometic fridge fan kit, and to be quite frank it didn't work, and I was going to show you an install in relation to this product that I've got at the moment, but I decided not to do it. And then when I was chatting on one of my Caravan Sunday tinkering videos, some people said it'd be a good idea to show the video of the installation of the new fan kit that I've bought. Now, I decided at first to hold back on the video, and the reason why I chose to do that is because if it was rubbish there was no point showing it, but I'm pleased to say that this piece of kit has worked. But first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside and I'm going to explain what a Caravan 3-way fridge is, and I'm going to show you a few tips on how to keep it cool. So let's just bob inside and I'll show you what I mean. So most fridges are a 3-way fridge. Now what does that mean? Well, it means it can be powered either by 230 volts when you're on mains hookup, or gas from your gas bottle, and when you're actually on the move it will be powered with your 12 volt from your car supply. Now these are not compressor fridges. What they are, they're a condenser fridge, so it doesn't function as well as a compressor fridge that you have at home. Having said that, there are some ways that you can actually use this fridge without things going off, because it's the one thing that caravan and motorhomes dread, and that is putting stuff into the fridge and a couple of days later everything's gone bad because the fridge isn't functioning properly. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the installation of the fan kit that I bought off Amazon. I will leave a link to it below if you're interested, but believe you me, I was shocked when I found out how well this worked. Everything in our fridge at this moment in time is nice and cool and cold, and it's functioning perfectly. Now another tip is, ours looks quite full but it's not actually, and that is the key. Don't overfill your fridge, and don't keep the door open all the time, because it takes a while to then start to regenerate and cool. So them two tips: first of all, don't overload your fridge, and don't leave the fridge door open for long periods of time. Let's take a look at the install. So previously I mentioned don't overload your fridge, but what about your drinks? We all like to keep our drinks cold, especially your beer. What I tend to do is I try and buy it from the shop if I can, already cold, and I'll fit it inside this 12 volt cool box. If not, I put it in the fridge till it has cooled down, and then I transfer it into here. That way I'm not overloading the fridge, and it's not just a fridge full of beer, which Juliet would get angry at. This, as I said, is 12 volt. It's one that I bought from Alfred's. There's plenty on the market. This is probably one I wouldn't recommend, because this is the replacement from the one that I originally bought, because it just stopped working. But at this moment in time it's doing a good job, and it's got all my beer. We've got Australia in there at the moment, and it's keeping it nice and cool. We're going to be fitting an RV fridge fan in yet again. Now, if you didn't watch any of our previous videos, I did install a Dometic RV fridge cooling fan kit, and unfortunately it didn't work when we went to Holland, and I also explained that on video as well. In fact, so much so that we had quite a few comments suggesting alternatives and perhaps what could be wrong with the other one. Well, I've decided to go out, do a bit of research myself, do some shopping, and I've been on Amazon and I've purchased this. This is the motorhome and caravan fridge fan kit from Titan. The model number's there. Now, this was cheaper, believe it or not, than the Dometic. And when I get out of the box in a minute and show you what we get in the kit, I think you might realise, like me, that it's a lot better built. Now, today's video is not sponsored. Like I said, we've purchased this with our own cash, and we're going to fit it as well. I'm going to show you how to fit it. There's not many videos out there, UK spec wise, to show you how to do it, so that's what we're going to do. So let's get it out the box and we'll see what we've got. So the first thing is, it's very well packaged. This is a sturdy cardboard packaging. We'll just move that on one side. And then inside you have a moulded tray which houses the components. So let's get them out one at a time and I'll explain them. Now the first thing you get is the actual instructions, which are in several European languages, which is great. I think it's reasonable as in an explanation. It does leave out some points which I'm going to show you in the video, but nonetheless you could probably get by with it. So first thing out of the box is the fan kit itself, and we've got a twin fan system here. These are 12 centimetre fans, and there's 9 blades each, which Titan claim reduces the noise. We'll have to see about that later. They're both plastic housings, but the actual joining parts are metal. And if you can see here, we have the lugs to attach to the Caravan. On the top we have 2 cables with plug connectors, which we'll sort out later. Next we have the 2 cables that clip into the fan and also into the wiring system for the actual fan kit itself. The next thing we have in the plastic bag here is the clips that retain the fan to the Caravan, and there's some grub screws in there as well. Next we have the controller itself, which you can set to timed, manual or automatic, and the timing goes from 10 minutes right round to 4 hours. And this is made of alloy, it's not plastic. And we obviously have the cables there. This lone wire here is the sensor, which picks up the temperature. And last but not least, we've got some sticky pads, which I'll show you what we do with those later. So the tools for today's project are very easy. There's some crosshead screwdrivers, we've got a flathead electrical screwdriver, and we've got a craft knife. And that's more or less all we'll need. Now what we do need to do first of all is remove the fridge vents, and to do that it's very simple. On the left hand side generally you'll find this little clip here. What you do is take a screwdriver or something flat and push upwards like so, and then pull towards you, and that releases it. Now we're going to need this because we're going to be fitting the actual fan to the back of here, which I'll show you in a moment. As you can see there, we've got a completely sealed firewall. Let's have a look at the back. They've sealed it all in. Now what they've done with the main wires, if you look here, they've really put silicone in there, and I've decided that I'm not going to disturb that because they put it in and I don't want to get a leak. So I'm going to actually fit the remote control in here, down there, and I'm going to just set it to auto and we'll test it and see how it works. So I'll just get on with the wiring now, and then I'll explain how I've wired it. It's very similar to the Dometic one that I did. Now, it has been previously wired when I did the Dometic video for that fan, but if you're doing it for the first time, what I would recommend you do, go to the bottom here if you've got a Swift, and where this silicone is, you'll see a block connector that comes out of there. Now the other side of this, if you turn it over, it does tell you that this is 12 volt. Now for the purposes of this, I tested it with an actual voltmeter, but the purple is live and the black is the negative. So them are the 2 wires that we're going to be using, and we're going to tap in. Now I cut it back just about here and strip the wires and then fit them into these block connectors, and that's how I did it. And I also added this fuse as well on the live section, and this has worked really well for me. I'll put this back together, make sure that that's in correctly. Yep, that's it. And we're going to now tuck the wires in neatly out the way. So we've disconnected this cable here, and because we've already disconnected the previous fan, we've got our minus here and we've got our plus. Now I did leave the fuse on that had on the original fan. I've decided to continue with that, so I'm just going to put these connectors in. So we're going to put the plus in there like so. So we've got our 2 connectors. So what we're going to do now is take the ones that have come with the kit, identify them, which is obviously the black is the black, so we're going to fit that in here like so, making sure it's secure, and then we're going to go to here and we've got them complete. All we have to do now is plug this back into here like so. Make sure that's a good tight fit. So now I've fitted this in, I've fed this upwards and come through the top here, and what we have is a connection for the fans themselves and also this temperature sensor which we've got dangling here. So I'm going to secure them now nice and neatly so that we're happy with where they are. I think I'm going to use this actual clip here to see if I can fit the temperature sensor in wire. So I'll do that off camera and I'll get back to you. So this is the control box, and what I've done is I've fed the wire upwards and come out the top here. The actual connector connects to the fan, and this lone wire, as I said before, is the sensor wire that senses the temperature. I'm going to tidy this up and I'm going to actually fit it, probably attach it to this here. It would make life easier for me. So I'll do that off camera now and then I'll come back to you. Now it recommends that you fit these rubber pads first of all. So I've just tried to get them off, and as you can see the backings come off them. So they're about as much use as a chocolate fire guard, the rubbish. So I'm going to have to use some of my own. Not impressed with that. They say they're 3M, and I don't believe that neither. So yeah, they're useless, not very good. Okay, so to fit this, it's quite simple really. You need to work out where you're going to put it. Now, if you notice here, mine's offset, and the reason why it's offset is there is a piece of plastic contained within the actual framework of the fridge vent housing, which gets in the way, so you need to move it off centre. What I would recommend is I wouldn't get the 120 like I've got, I'd go for the 80, especially if you've got a Swift, because this is quite narrow. Nonetheless, we've actually fitted it, we've managed to fit it. But what I did notice is on this section here where my screwdriver is on all the four corners, this was like an L-shaped bracket, and the flange that was sticking up was stopping me closing the fridge vent, which was a nuisance. So what I did with that is I just took my Dremel angle grinder and I cut them off and then put some paint over them to prevent them from rusting. And that's how I fitted it. Now, to actually fit these brackets here where my finger is, what you do is you mark them out and then you slit those with the Stanley knife blade or craft blade so that you can fit this bracket in. It goes inside and out through the other side like so, and that fits on the edges like that, and then you clamp them here by tightening them up, and that will hold it securely. Now, they can be a little bit fiddly when you first get to do it, but you will work out a quick and simple method to do it once you're happy with where you're going to fit it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go outside and I'm going to show you why I've chose to offset it so that you can understand how that works. But this should take you in total no longer than an hour. So you can set an hour in the morning or an hour in the evening to do this. Okay, the reason why I had to offset it is simple. It's this tang here. So as you can see now, that's where it's going to fit now, and it's just enough space to pass that and pass this lug here. Now I'm going to connect it up now so that it's good to go. So that's that, and I've fitted the sensor here close to the fins so that it can pick up from there. Now with the rest of it, we just feed it down there like so, and then fit as normal. Pull that down, and there we go, we've got a nice solid fit. Unfortunately for now, it's going to have to live until I come up with a better solution. But it's a bit messy and I'm not really happy with the results really, but it was very simple to set up. Now as you can see there, it's in automatic mode. If I press it into manual and I just turn it up, should be able to hear it ever so slightly coming out of this top, and I can feel the wind coming out of it, the air, which I'm really happy with. So I know that this is working. So in case you're wondering if it's going to be permanently alive, the answer is not, because once I turn everything off inside the Caravan, this goes off, which I've just checked. But the problem is when you put the power back on and you've got it in auto mode like that, you then have to come and switch it on. So it's not the best solution for the job really, but with this firewall being in here, I'm really reluctant to actually go into that with a drill. I'm very reluctant. In fact, I'm adamant that I'm not going to do it. So this is where it's going to have to stay for now. Well folks, that's the Titan fridge fan installation kit. Very impressed with this. I can feel the warm air coming out of here already, and it's kept our fridge at a really cool constant temperature, and we're really pleased. We've not had an issue at all with it, no alarms going off, and it's done its job, and it's kept everything fresh, which is what you want. Now, I do apologise that this video has been shot here in Spain, but also back in England as well, but it was the only way that I could put this video together. And I do hope you understand that it is a very difficult thing to show a full installation on this, because behind here is very shallow. As yet, I have still not found a way of putting the controller inside the Caravan. It's still sat here. I just switched it on when we arrived, and I've left it on since we came. I've not put it into auto mode. I've just stuck it in manual, turned up the fan and left it, and it's done its job. Well, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you'll join us again real soon, but in the meantime, bye for now.